I'm Cadence the drummer, and this is my corner. If you're new to this channel, welcome, but if you've been rocking with us for some time, welcome back. I always have to start this off by saying, you guys, thank you for subscribing. We are getting some new subscribers. It's always nice to see that we are organically growing our viewership. So thank you guys for rocking with us. Now, I know you're here because you saw the title. Yes, I passed my first exam to getting Pro Tools certified. Before you get too excited, no, I am not certified at this point in time. I have to take a series of tests in order to get the certification. But the fact that I have passed one of the tests is a huge accomplishment. So I just wanted to share some of my tips with you all. That way you can have a better time preparing for the exam than I did. Enroll in a credible program because there's certain rules that you have to do in order to take the Pro Tools exam in the first place. You have to be enrolled in a specific type of program that issues the exam during a certain duration. Now, so just make sure that you are in a program that is credible and know that you can take the test at some point. Next thing you'll want to do is make sure you have the time to dedicate to the class, because once you're in it, before you're in it, you're thinking like, I have plenty of time, I can do this, it's gonna be great. And then when you actually get into the class, you're like, I really don't have the time like I thought I did, or I'm not gonna be able to dedicate the amount of hours or put in the work. Make sure that you have the time set aside to work the class the way you need to work it, okay? Because the whole point is to get the certification and move on to the next phase. Next tip I will give you, do your study guide at the end of every chapter. I have the ebook, and I really don't like having the ebook, even though it's the most up-to-date version. But the reason I don't like the ebook is because then I'm glued to the computer or a tablet or just reading it or on my phone, and I really would prefer to have been able to turn the pages and really look at everything, smell the paper, hold the book. But the convenience of having an ebook means I could take it anywhere I have like internet access and the book on my whatever device I'm using. Make sure that you do the study guide at the end of the chapter. Don't wait until you've read all the chapters to do the study guides, because you're not going to remember the answers. The best advice I can give is that when you're reading each page, look to see what questions are being asked in the study guide and answer them. Oh, here's a bonus tip. I don't know if this is just me, because maybe I have administrative skills, but I don't know if my administrative skills didn't show up on this particular day or these instances, but I manually typed the study guide out and then printed it and then hand wrote the answers. I'm not sure if you could just copy the whole thing and then print it. Maybe there's an easier option, but at the time I was rushing to do some other things, so I ended up just manually typing it and then printing it out and then handwriting the answers like I just said. So I would say definitely make sure that you answer the questions, like read and then look for the answer the question as you're going through each chapter. Don't wait until the end, because you'll end up going back to the pages that you just read to only reread them to find the answer. Create your own study guide as well with the images, because there are some things on the exam that are image based. And if you have to label or title or do anything like that and you don't remember seeing it, you're gonna be in trouble. I was almost in trouble. So I will say this, look at the diagrams and things that you feel like might be important. Just make sure that you are able and feel comfortable identifying those things if they took all the labels away. If there's a waveform, if there is a sigma sign or anything, what does that mean? And make sure that you feel, I'm not saying that will be on the exam, because there's any combination of tests, but be prepared. That way, if it does show up, you already know what that means. If you've gotten to this point, then you should know what a sigma sign means, and then you should know what the audio waveform represents. But anyway, also review your coursework every week. As it was getting closer to me actually taking the exam, I was reviewing my study guide every day, because I was reviewing my study guide every day. But in general, I was reviewing it every week. That helped a ton, because then I started kind of memorizing the answers. The thing is that when you take the exam, they're not going to give it to you exactly as it is on the study guide. You got to be able to flip it, dip it, twist it when it comes to them asking a question and really still know the answer. But reviewing the study guide multiple times really does help you to solidify and understand the concept. That way, if they ask you in a different way, you still are able to come up with the right answer. When you're going through it, because it is time, don't let the timer freak you out. The timer kind of freaked me out a little bit. But what I did to help combat that was I went through and answered every question that I felt like I knew the answer to the first time around. Anything I was a little unsure of, I just skipped it, because when you do it, it marks it. And then it makes it kind of hard for you to get back to it. And because I was unsure of something, I just decided to leave it blank. And once I did like a first pass of the questions, because I at least wanted to lay eyes on every question. Once I answered the ones I felt like I knew, then I said, okay, let's take a second stab at this and a third stab, or however many stabs I needed in order to answer all of the questions before the timer ran out. But I would say that helped give me confidence, because the first few I answered, I was like, okay, I feel good about this. But then when I had some in a row, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row that I was unsure of, that kind of that shook my confidence a little bit. And to regain it, I just like, let's move on. There's other questions here that I know, or there will be other questions, or should be other questions that I know. We're gonna move on. And then I got to the point where, okay, I'm going through the questions, another time, and I'm just kind of trying to narrow it down to give myself a 50-50 chance of answering the right one. And then after doing that, a couple of times, keep in mind the timer's still running down, but I felt like I've spent enough time to determine, I can spend time actually trying to look up an answer or go review my notes or anything. But I would say just keep going through it as many times as you need. Try to do the process of elimination once you get to a point where you're like, okay, if you have no idea, make an educated guess. If you have no idea, try to look it up. Don't give up. Don't just hit anything just for the sake of, I just want to be done. You don't want to do that. Thankfully, I was able to pass it my first time around, because I heard rumors that if you take it again and again, it gets harder and harder. And then at some point you have to pay again. So I was like, no, we're not about to do that. We're about to be one and done, because we're just about to be one and done, because I can't deal with that stress. And the combination of questions that you could have if you don't pass the first time just gave me like a level of anxiety. I was like, I don't need this in my life, right? Take heed to my warning. Use these study tips. I hope this really helps you, because I'm celebrating where I'm at currently. Not looking too far in the future, not focusing on things in the past, but right now. I'm excited in this moment that I passed Pro Tools 101 exam. And when I get to the point where I'm passing the other and get certified, you guys will hear about that. I want to take you along on this journey. But I am grateful that I have made it to this point at this point in time. If you've made it to the end of this video, you know what you need to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.